Township of Washington.us, contact us tab, click on mayor and council, send emails to contact all council members at once, and we will discuss your topic. Salute to the flag, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sue, roll call, please.
Councilman Casio.
Here.
Councilman Sears.
Here.
Councilman Ullman.
Here.
Councilwoman Velez. Council President DeSena.
Let the record also reflect the attendance, Mayor Calamari, Township Administrator DiCarlo, Township Attorney Bailey, and Township Clerk Lukowski. Payment of bills, Resolution 25349, authorized payment of bills November 7th through November 25, 2005. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second,
Okay. Any discussion?
I just had a couple of quick questions.
Okay, Mr. Ullman?
Just to the council, on page 2, and I'm looking at the purchase order listing by PO number. Page 2 is the contribution to the ambulance corps. And I'm just wondering, do we understand the situation? Not only with regard to the incident that happened a couple of months now. Do we want to withhold funding at this point, or do we want to continue with the contribution? I mean, I am inclined to hold the funding until we understand what the issue was and, what the resolution is.
Okay. Mr. Sears, any comment?
I'm kind of in agreement with Mr. Allman. We still haven't received a update on the event that went on a couple of months ago.
So you want to withhold that?
Well, yes, pending the outcome of the
Review.
update.
Okay.
So that would be one. On page
Well,
4.
wait, Mike, 1 second. Mr. Mayor, do you have a comment regarding any update that you would like to give, or Mr. DiCarlo?
I do not. I didn't know it would be a topic for this evening,
Okay.
so I didn't come prepared to
No
discuss it.
problem. Okay, Mr. Ullman, your second question?
On page 4, and I think it again is on page page 9, my apologies. There are soft costs, there are charges against ordinances from 2018 and 2019. I was under the impression that we had cleaned up or cleared out all of those old ordinances. They were, for lack of a better term, reallocated into the Bethany or the DPW project. And I'm just wondering, we're still charging these old ordinances. Do we know how much we're going to continue to charge? Because I'd rather see those funds put back into the general capital fund.
Mr. Sears, any comment?
No.
Mr. DiCarlo?
Yes,
can you
sir.
answer-
Mr. Ullman, they were cleaned up. If you look, the purchase order was encumbered in June, and that was so we could make repairs to place in a new door onto the new building and zoning department, and so it would swing in a feasible way as to allow better, interaction with the residents. It's one of those half doors that has a counter. You open the top. So that was closed out, I believe, in our most recent closing. And then ordinance 1917, I'll have to double check, but that was a payment. We have a yearly payment to Phoenix Advisors for their work with the listing of ordinances as it pertains to our two bond, when we borrowed money for bonds, we had the two bonds. We had one band and two bonds. So I actually looked into that today. There's an annual fee of $1,600, and then there were some associated costs. So I don't know the actual balance of ordinance 1917, but I can check into it. But I'm pretty confident ordinance 18-06 has been closed out when we did it a couple weeks ago.
Okay. And the last question is, on page 6, excuse me, going back. The third charge down to Cifeli and Son. Is this, does this exhaust the amount planned for that work, or is there additional funds available? Was there contingency on this?
Specific to that work?
Yes.
No, that's the entire bill.
That's the entire bill?
Right, but it did not exhaust the funding in ordinance 25-22. There's still a balance there.
Okay. And that, at some point, we'll receive the accounting of the expenses as well as the source of funds? This would be part of that?
Yes, I give you the quarterly review of all accounts, including the trust, the grant, the current, and the capital. So this is a new ordinance, so it was created after the third quarter review. So you'll get it, and you know, you can always have it earlier, but you would get it as part of my fourth quarter review.
Okay. So we had spoken at one point after, I guess goes back 2 meetings, about a summary or a report, a schedule for the DPW, similar to the ESB.
Yes,
Would this be included in that?
yes, it will.
Okay.
Yeah, just looking for a free moment.
Okay, thank you. That's
You're
it.
welcome.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question for you. Can we ask them to withhold the line item on the payment of bills? It seems like Mr. Ullman and Mr. Sears wants to withhold the ambulance corps contribution. Is that possible to do, or you have to authorize everything?
Well, let me take a look at the resolution. Sue, would it be possible to revise this resolution to such a
Or can they,
withhold a line item? here?
or can they approve the bill list and have that particular check number and item, just, you know, everything but check number 1, 2, 3 in the amount of whatever? And then this way I'll make sure that finance knows tomorrow to hold off that check, do not send out that check.
Yes, and
Can we do that?
yes.
Okay, so we can just authorize the whole thing and then withhold it.
Yeah.
Mr. Mayor,
As revised.
are you okay with that?
From what I heard of it, yes.
Yes?
All
Okay.
right, so let's, all right, if Mr. Ullman, if you could pull out that check number so we know for sure,
All right.
and I'll mark it down.
Check. I have a PO number,
All right, well, PO number,
25-00032 in the amount of $10,000.
and
And
I'm
it's
sorry, that was 2.
check 46145 for the ambulance corps
The
contribution.
ambulance corps. So I would just suggest making a motion with that information to be withheld, that check being withheld, and you can approve everything else, and then we'll make sure that that check does not go out.
So I make a motion to approve the resolution as written and amend it to hold back payment of check 46145 in the amount of $10,000 to the ambulance corps pending the review and resolution of the open issue with regard to response time.
I'll second that motion. Roll call Sue when you get a chance.
Councilman Casio,
Yes.
Councilman Sears?
Yes.
Councilman Ullman,
Yes.
and Councilwoman Velez is not here yet, and Council President DeSena is not here yet. They will be joining us shortly.
But the motion passes, right, Agenda
Yes.
3? Okay, wonderful. Okay, and read your PSA. PSA for December 2nd, 2025. My mind's on Christmas already, I'm sorry. All leaves are replaced at the curb no later than December 7th. Please visit the DPW webpage and our Facebook page for weekly updates during leaf collection. The Washington Township Christmas tree sale is back, located at Memorial Field Pavilion on Pascack Road. Also available wreaths, grave blankets, and roping. The township's annual holiday tree lighting ceremony will be held on Friday, December 5th, from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. at Finnerty Place. Please be advised that the restrooms at Memorial and Clark Field are now closed for the winter season. Facilities will reopen in the spring once the weather conditions allow. We appreciate your understanding as the seasonal closures help protect our infrastructure during the colder weather months. Washington Township Police have observed an increase in illegal electric and gas-powered dirt bikes around the township and have issued a zero tolerance if someone is caught riding one of these vehicles. Not only will the operator receive a traffic summons, but depending on the circumstances, the bike may be impounded. Friendly reminder, please curb your dogs and pick up their waste when necessary. Please do not throw your pet waste baggage in your neighbor's garbage cans, bodies of water, or in wooded areas. Our next council meeting is scheduled to be held on Monday, December 15th, 2025 at 7 p.m. And now we're going to read the reports of the administrator, mayor, and council. Mr. DiCarlo?
Excuse me, may I just make a quick comment on the PSA? Probably,
sure.
most of you already know it, but when it says the Washington Township Christmas tree sale is back, that's hosted by the fire department, so just want to make sure everyone knows that.
Thank you. Mr. DiCarlo?
Thank you, Council Vice President, and good evening, everyone. This is my council response from Township Council meeting November 10th, 2025. First question was a follow-up from a question asked of me by Council President DeSena, and it was regarding the 2025 road program and the stormwater improvements we made on Bergen Avenue. Council President DeSena requested to know if the existing stormwater pipes on Bergen Avenue will be filled in to prevent collapsing once the new stormwater pipes are installed in the street. I spoke with Township Engineer Glenn Beckmeyer Jr. Glenn advised that doing so would be very costly and that there is no plan to perform that work. Glenn clarified that the corrugated metal stormwater piping is not collapsing. The corrugated metal pipe has an asphalt liner that is collapsing, and that is what is causing the blockage. Glenn indicates that the existing piping will act as an overflow, and we should not fill that in. Councilman Ullman inquired if the Township Code for Leaf Collection, 415, requires residents to place their leaves in a biodegradable bag or barrels if the home is on a county road. The Township Code does not mandate placing leaves in a barrel or biodegradable bag if on a county road. The code does indicate that residents may not use a plastic bag. If a resident wishes to use a bag, it shall be a biodegradable bag. The verbiage in our social media post and in the PSA is a request of residents, not a mandate. DPW Superintendent Bill Lawler advised that DPW mostly uses the leaf vacuum on the county roads, and some residents use biodegradable bags and some use barrels. I included a copy of the ordinance for the council's review. Councilman Ullman requested that the funding sources and related expenses for the new DPW building construction be placed on the website, much like it is for the emergency services building. The administration has no objection to providing this information. It will take some time to create the document and catch up to current. I will also provide ledger details to the council pertaining to the expenses on a periodic basis. At this point, I am only expecting payments being made to the construction company, engineer, and architect. Councilman Ullman inquired about the fire emergency in Hillsdale, where several Hillsdale firefighters were injured. He's requesting to know if there was an equipment failure that may need to be addressed with Washington Township volunteer firefighters or any failure on the part of the water company. I spoke with Hillsdale Township Administrator Michael Casali and Washington Township Fire Department Director Phil Billius. I'm happy to report that the volunteer firefighters involved in the incident are all okay. The incident occurred prior to the arrival of the Washington Township Fire Department. There was no failure on the part of the water company, nor an equipment failure associated with the Washington Township Volunteer Fire Department. Updates. An update on the reassessment. The current residential entry rate is 67%. Phone calls for an interior inspection have slowed down. Sales analysis and preliminary values are in process. ASI anticipates value letters to be mailed out at the end of the year, beginning of next. The 2024 audit has been completed by Supley Clooney Company. Mayor Calamari, the Finance Department, Alex Parise from Lurch Vinci Bliss, and myself met with John Swisher, and Wayne Miller on November 13th, 2025, to conduct the exit interview for the audit. Mr. Swisher will be presenting to the council at the December 15th, 2025 council meeting on the 2024 audit. However, I will steal from Ms. Thunder and advise the council and residents this evening that there are 0 recommendations in the 2024 audit report. This is an incredibly proud moment, and the mayor and I commend our employees for this achievement. Over the last several years, we have improved from having 7 documented recommendations in the audit down to 0. The township has received a New Jersey DOT grant award for the resurfacing of Ridgewood Boulevard North for 2026. The grant award amount is for $237,528. Leaf collection. As of this date, all equipment and vehicles used for leaf collection is in good working order. DPW superintendent reports that the DPW is on schedule with the pickup. Residents are kindly reminded that the leaves should be placed curbside and not in the roadway. There are 3 zones, and the DPW conducts collection according to zones. The streets immediately surrounding the 2 scrolls are attempted to be done daily by the leaf vacuum. Please understand that the leaf collection is a tremendous undertaking, and DPW does an excellent job, oftentimes working extended days, holidays, and weekends in order to keep up. There's only so much that can be done, and they have 10 full-time members. The DPW does not make a habit of collecting outside of the DPW does not make a habit of collecting outside of the current zone, as it causes delays. Once the 3 zones are completed, the rotation begins again in Zone 1, so it may be a couple of weeks before your second pile is picked up. If you have identified an unsafe condition caused by a leaf pile, please call the police non-emergency line to report the unsafe condition at 201-664-1140. An update on leaf collection is put on Facebook and the website at the beginning of each week. It tells the residents what has been completed and where DPW will be heading that week. Also, very important, please don't pile leaves within 10 feet of a storm drain. It's against code, and you may be summoned as a landscaper or as a resident if you block the storm drain, therefore causing pooling in the roadway. Escrow project update. Ms. Apar has completed the review and accounting corrections of several older escrow accounts that resulted in transferring a total of $85,854.56 to our revenue account for police outside billing. These funds will lapse to fund balance. The money was for outstanding admin and equipment fees due to the township from work performed prior to 2018. Mayor Calamari and I are pleased to announce that the township has been awarded $80,704 from the Bergen County Open Space Municipal Park Improvement Grant. The project is for park improvements at Memorial Field and Clark Field. The Memorial Field ADA component includes ADA seating, 2 ADA parking spaces, and an access ramp for mobility devices that will serve all members of the Township of Washington community, because persons with disabilities or families and caregivers will now have much greater barrier-free access and accommodations at this public facility. The Clark Field ADA improvements component will provide for the installation of a barrier-free ADA compliant playground equipment and rubber safety servicing for more inclusive recreational experience. The total project is estimated to cost approximately $200,000. This grant comes with the requirement of a 50% match in funds. In order to pay for the balance of the 50% match, the township has applied for funding assistance with the Division of Community Affairs Local Recreation Improvement Grant. The grant has not yet been awarded. There's a possibility that administration will ask the council to fund the remaining balance through the capital projects in the 2026 budget if we are not awarded that grant from the DCA. This evening, the council will have before them a resolution affirming that Renova will be awarded as the contractor to conduct the remedial excavation at 450 Pascask Road. As an additional reminder, township funds are not paying for the excavation. This will be paid for by the seller's escrow. The next step will be demolition of the 2 structures. This will be paid for by the use of an awarded grant. Next update, council, that you don't have, I just updated it from what was written. An update on the 2025 road program. On December 4th and December 5th, the contractor will be making catch basin repairs around the township. On December 8th and December 9th, we plan on resurfacing Salem and Carriage, weather depending. Unfortunately, Bergen and Fern will not be resurfaced this year. The funding is approved and will be resurfaced first thing in April when the weather permits. This is due to the stormwater piping repair that was made at the end of Fern and on Bergen. And if we don't allow time for the soil to settle, we'll end up with sinkholes and a very crappy resurfacing job. So in order to do it correctly, Fern and Bergen will be resurfaced in April. Lastly, council will have a resolution in front of them this evening for our application to the Bergen County Community Development Block Grant for approximately $19,600. The project is for ADA improvements to the library, creating accessibility to a picnic table and patio area. There's no match required. And Council Vice President, thank you. That's my, I'm sorry, Council President.
I'm here, thanks. Sorry I'm late, everyone.
Can I ask
Just go ahead,
a
Mr. Owen.
question or two quick questions?
Fine.
For the reassessment, are we on schedule? And will the reassessed values be used in the generation of 2026 tax bills?
Yes. So yes to both questions, and on the last question, it was yes, that's my understanding.
Do we know which quarter, Mr. DiCarlo?
I don't, sir, I don't.
Okay.
And just the last or the next question on the escrow project,
Yes.
do you have an idea of what percent have been reconciled and completed versus how much is remaining?
I don't. If you remember, we reviewed 2,300 approximately escrow accounts. Many of them, a good 300, 400, 500 of them were just, a clerical thing where they had to be closed out and made inactive. And then we were focusing on the accounts where we believe there was accounting corrections, where the township was going to be due money. So that's where our focus is now. And this project that I just read the good proactive news on took several months to just really get to the bottom of the accounting, and therefore transferring that 85,000. Once that's done, we're going to start moving into other ones. So it is a very slow process. So the ratio of completion wouldn't be that good, other than, the fact that the ones we did just reconcile, converted $85,000 over to township month funds.
Is there a thought that these reconciliations will result in the township having to pay out?
Yes, there's Suez accounts, Veolia, and there was United Water before that. So they set up escrow projects instead of paying out of the police departments out of the trust for the side job work and the administrative fees. So there is a small balance that was left. I think, again, I don't like to throw out numbers unless I'm accurate, but I believe it's under $10,000, but it was their money in the beginning.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So has that money been refunded to?
No, not yet.
Not yet. Any other questions for Mr. DiCarlo?
Can you speak up?
Report of the mayor?
Yes, thank you, Mike. Good evening, everyone. I participated in the funds management meeting with our banking institution. It was a very positive meeting. The administrator will have more details about it in a future report. Recreation news. The 2025-2026 basketball program has completed their team selections. Practices will be starting soon, and their season will start in January. The lacrosse program registration will open in early January. If you are interested in volunteering to coach for either team, please contact the Superintendent of Recreation, Dan Scudieri. A background check for all volunteers 18 years of age and older is required. As a reminder, Teen Night at the Westwood Recreation Center is now open. Teen Center is available to all Westwood and Township residents in grades 6 through 8 on Friday nights from 7:30 to 10 p.m. at the Westwood Community Center at no cost. Basketball, volleyball, ping pong, billiards, air hockey, and Xbox on a big screen are just some of the available activities. Parents must fill out a registration form at the Teen Center on any Friday night or during business hours at the Westwood Community Center. Refreshments are available throughout the evening for a nominal fee. Fire department news. For the month of November, the department responded to multiple fire and CO alarm calls. They also responded to 2 calls where there was a burning odor, one with smoke in a garage. One of the calls turned out to be a burnt-out garage door opener. The department started their Christmas tree fundraiser sales at Memorial Field this past weekend. They appreciate the support they received from the community. The department also held their annual election of officers. The following people will comprise the 2026 Board of Fire Officers: Chief Frank Aiello, Deputy Chief Chris Campo, Battalion Chief Christopher Meyer, Captain Ty Stutzer, First Lieutenant Keith Mahoney, Second Lieutenant Scott Mayer, Third Lieutenant Tim Mayer, and Fourth Lieutenant Orion Grunberg. I would like to recognize Chief Zach Myros after 2 great years of service to the chief position. It has been a pleasure working with him. Another member I would like to recognize this evening is ex-Chief James Zacconi, who on November 25th has actively served our department for 50 years. DPW news. The crews have all been involved in leaf collection. On average, 2 loader crews have been out and occasionally a third. Additionally, the leaf vacuum has been servicing the county roads and when needed, the side streets. Approximately 1,500 cubic yards of leaves have already been collected during the month of November. All the equipment has been performing above average. Holiday decorations have been placed in front of Town Hall and await the tree lighting ceremony. Public affairs. The department continued preparations for the annual Township tree lighting ceremony scheduled for this Friday, December 5th from 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Following arrangements have been confirmed: DJ services, a professional face painter, pony rides, bounce houses. Risers have been secured for the school choir, who will be performing holiday music throughout the evening. Members from the Guitars for Veterans program will also be there playing music. Hot dogs have been generously donated by Fresh Grocer. Starbucks has confirmed a donation of hot coffee for the attendees. The Ambulance Corps will be sponsoring and providing donuts. All logistical components are on track, and preparations are proceeding smoothly to ensure another successful and well-attended community event. Zoning Office, there were a total of 32 zoning applications reviewed for the month of November. Library, November at the library was booming with activity. Programs included a teen block party, senior chair yoga, an adult felting program, a visit from the Bergen Zoo, an apple pie making class for our Storytime children with seniors at the Chelsea, Jurassic geodes, and so much more. They would like to say thank you for the outstanding response to their annual Thanksgiving pie and cake fundraiser. Municipal Alliance, in November, the Alliance sponsored a presentation to all 9th graders on vaping, as well as an assembly to grades 9 through 12 on cyberbullying. Both presentations were met with a great response among the students, teachers, and parents. Lastly, Municipal Court, 204 total traffic tickets were issued in October, with 137 from the Township Police Department and 67 from the State Police. The court collected $4,580.34 in revenue to the township. Thank you. That completes my report. Thank you, Mike.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Report of the council, Mr. Sears.
Thank you, Council President. I'll start out with the 2026 Montclair State Technical Assistance. I applied for 2 grants this week, one to review the canopy within the township, and the second one is to review carbon monoxide at the intersections. So they were put in yesterday, and hopefully we will get those 2 grants. They are through technical assistance with Montclair State seniors. Sustainable New Jersey, I applied for 3 grants. The first grant is native plants. We submitted a plan to plant native plants throughout the parks. That was accepted. We also applied for a tree grant to install more trees around the parks. That was accepted. And I upgraded our EV charging station to make sure that when the new building is built, we will get the monies for the charging station. So those 3 grants were applied and all accepted. As commander of the VFW post, I handed out 15 frozen turkeys to veterans in the township in any type of medical or assistant grants. Our donations to the Veterans Home in Paramus is really low this year because we were denied access from the shopping center to sell poppies. So you may see a fundraising letter to go out to help booster our donations to the Veterans Home. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you, Mr. Sears. Mr. Casca.
Yeah, mine's going to be real short. I attended the League of Municipalities, as Mr. Sears did, Ms. Wachowski, the mayor, the administrator, and Mike and Daisy. I know we go down there, we learn a lot of new things that we didn't know, even though I've been on the council for quite a long time, seems like forever. You always pick up new things, and we always introduce ourselves to new vendors to find out better products that we can offer the town. And Sue and I, we were on that seminar with how government works. We're supposed to work for you, and it was still enlightening. I want to congratulate Mr. Sears, Mayor Calamari, and Daisy for their victory in the past election. I wasn't here for the last meeting, and I want to congratulate Mike for running. It's nice that everyone put your hat out there in the ring to do public service, and we do appreciate it. With that, I'm going to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas early. Please be safe out there. We have some weather events coming up, so please drive carefully. Be aware of what's around you. If you don't need to go out when it's bad, don't go out. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Cassidy. Mr. Ullman?
No report at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Ullman. I would just, a quick report, I want to congratulate the new Fire Officers Board. They do a wonderful job for our township, volunteering their time at all hours of the day and every day, including holidays. I want to congratulate Mr. Zucconi on his 50 years of service to the fire department. It's an incredible feat. God bless him on everything he does. I'm still waiting to hear from the mayor about the meeting with the ambulance corps. We still have not met on that. So I know that I have residents that would like a report on that. So if you could just let me know when we can meet Peter on that. Okay. That's all I have. Thank you, everyone. Motion to open the public portion of the meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So we're going to limit the comments to anything that is not on the agenda. I know everybody is here for the next thing on the agenda, which is the Bethany lease agreement. So if it's the Bethany lease agreement, I'd like you to wait until it's that time. But anything else that's not anything other than the Bethany lease agreement, which you'll get your chance to speak during that public comment period, if you'd like to come up now. Would anybody else like to come up now about anything else? I see one hand in the back, Mr. Terso. Good evening, Mr.
Hi,
Terso.
good evening. Joe Durso, 12 Viola Terrace. Something popped up on your agenda that caught my eye. I was here at the last meeting. The bank building next door. You have a resolution on this agenda tonight to possibly lease. You're going to a lease with the bank to park trucks or park equipment. Was there a discussion anywhere? Because I kind of looked like, why all of a sudden? I'll just ask my questions and I'll sit down. But
You don't have to sit down. I guess if that's your only question at this time, Mr. Terso? or
that's
no?
my one concern, because like everybody else is sitting here, my statement is, and I was here at the last meeting, all you're doing is disrupting neighborhoods. You're all of a sudden, I know, listen, there's plans for the bank. I get it, more housing, whatever. But in the interim, you guys are looking to possibly lease over there. I have neighbors, I see one of them here with me tonight. He's directly across like I am. Maybe it doesn't affect us as much as my neighbors closer, but how much more are you putting on the residents of this town? Bethany, the bank property, $450. I just heard the administrator say you got grants. I guess you're going to, maybe I heard him wrong, but you're putting, I guess $450 is going to be a parking lot. It sounds like you got additional parking. I mean,
No, those were 2 ADA ramps at Memorial Field,
Okay.
correct? Mr. DiCarlo?
Yes, I didn't say anything about parking at 450 Pascack Road.
So that's probably the eventual plans for that property, I guess.
At this time, the council is not aware of any plans at 450, other than the soil remediation and the demolition of the 2 structures.
Okay.
That is all is on our plate
Again,
right now.
it's the way I look at it is.
Joe, can I just make a quick comment?
Sure.
That's not 100% correct, Mike. When we went for the grant, we outlined a nature trail for that.
Oh,
Not what we
excuse me,
presented
so the nature, the passive
to the
nature
board
trail,
to
yeah,
get
the
it,
passive nature trail,
Yeah.
so.
So
Yes.
my biggest concern is when I see in the resolution so you're planning on possibly going into, I guess you're going to discuss it maybe, or table it or whatever. You're going to go in with a temporary lease, possibly to put equipment or whatever down there. Is that because you don't have enough room over at your next agenda at Bethany, or is the parking at the church going away? You know, there's a lot of stuff scattered in this town. I mean, go back to the swim club. You had trucks down there. Now I know you can't park there. Again, another neighborhood disrupted. My point is, and I asked this to the mayor last week or 2 weeks ago, why are you not trying to do, I'm not even saying shared service. I know that's an evil word sometimes with these towns. Home rule matters in this town, but Paramus, Westwood, Pete had said, Westwood didn't get back to him. Paramus, right down the road. It's a huge yard. I mean, maybe there could be something there instead of disrupting neighborhoods. I mean, for 2 years, if this might go on, then the development of the bank. Bethany's going to be, and I'm not supposed to talk about it, they're going to be disrupted for 2 years probably. I don't know what's going on with the swim club. I mean, that's the next barrier. And I don't know whether you're continuing with the church parking, but you're scattering all our equipment all over town. And my next question is, and I guess the plans are going up for the DPW building, which is great. They deserve it for years. It's been going on since I was involved years ago. Where are the men going to actually work? Are they going to be working down at Bethany? Are they going to stay here? Where's their housing for them?
They currently are, Mr. Carl, are the DPW currently housed in the basement of this building? Isn't that where their break room is?
Yes.
Will they continue to be housed here?
Yes.
Okay, so they're going to be here. So there's no temporary structures planned to go up at the bank or at Bethany for them to work?
With all due respect to you, Council President, and Mr. Durso, I will be answering all questions pertaining to the Bethany lease agreement at public hearing. But if Mr. Durso's finished with his questions, I can certainly answer what you did ask.
No, that's like I said. I get it. There's a lot of people here, but my immediate concern, I mentioned the word, I always do, NIMBY. Nobody wants it in their backyard. I just feel that, and I know you don't have a lot of options in this town. I think your main option really, if you're spending this much money to improve or alter Bethany, to go lease a parking lot for a temporary, you bought property, which is great. Sometimes buying property is fantastic. Maybe we should have bought Charlie Brown's. It could have been the perfect police and municipal complex. This could have been all DPW, what it always was. But I mean, you got to have a plan. And I think contacting a big hub like Paramus might be an idea. I mean, the mayor has said he didn't contact them. Maybe you should reach out. It could alleviate some pressure for all of us. Our trucks are scattered all over the place. And it's closer than going to Westwood, because Westwood's clear across close to Rivervale. So it's just my opinion, but I'm very concerned about that parking lot and the noise that's going to go on. Just you're pushing it closer to us just as much as the people around by Bethany don't want it. I don't want it. And I really wish you'd seriously consider contacting Paramus or Westwood again, because they could be your better options. So that's all I have. Thank you.
Mr. Carl, you want to
Yes,
answer?
thank you, Mr.
Durso, please?
Good evening, Mr. Durso, and thank you for your comment. I think it's very important that I very quickly correct the misbelief that what's may be happening at Valley Bank. So this evening, there's not necessarily a lease agreement. I think maybe an agreement is a better word for it. It is a zero-cost agreement with Valley Bank for our employees to park there during construction. So essentially, we're going to be displacing our employees, putting them farther away from the building. So there'll be ample parking for residents that come to the building to conduct business here. So we're going to need to, vacate as many spots as we can here at Town Hall. So we've made an agreement at zero cost with Valley National Bank that we're very appreciative. They've given us the last row in the rear of the lot for our passenger vehicles. It specifically states in the agreement that it's free. It specifically states in the agreement that there will be no storage of construction equipment or construction vehicles. Very specific. So please.
So it's just regular cars?
It's employee parking.
Okay.
Yeah. So thank you for allowing me to correct that. And then also 450 Pascack Road, we did receive an open space grant. And the condition of that is a deed restriction that it must be used for passive recreation. So the council was given a very preliminary plan. Essentially there probably will be some parking there. It won't be all made a parking lot, but a grant will pay for the demolition and removal of the two structures that are there. And then eventually, I'm sure the mayor and council will come to some type of agreement as to what the ultimate plan will be there, but it has to be recreationally related. So thank you. Hopefully that answered all your questions, Mr. Durso. Thank you.
Would anybody else like to come up for non-Bethany related question in the public comment period? Seeing no one, motion to close the public comment period.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Ordinances, adoption, second reading. Ordinance number 25-25, an ordinance authorizing entry into a lease agreement with Bethany Church. Resolution number 25-350, authorizing second reading and opening a public hearing for ordinance 25-25. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Would anybody like to come up and discuss the ordinance 25-25 at this time?
Mike, you call a roll call on that.
I can't call it until,
Oh, I thought you called it just to open the public hearing.
no,
Good. No, you're good. You need to do your roll call.
I do need to,
Yes, sir.
we usually do that. All right. Roll call, please.
Councilman Casio.
Yes.
Councilman Sears.
Yes.
Councilman Oman.
Yes.
Councilwoman Velez. Council President DeSena.
Yes. Would anybody like to come up and address resolution number 25-350, ordinance number 25-25 at this time? You're all here for it. This is for Bethany. This is for the Bethany lease. If you just come up, state your name, you don't have to give your address.
John Rudershan, Reutershan.
Thank you, Mr.
I'm
Rudy.
going to talk for the record about putting DPW equipment and operations at Bethany Community Center.
Thank you.
You have not been transparent or direct about this. It was begun in closed session, and without public comment. A limited number of residents were then contacted, and it was presented as a done deal. You did $57,000 or more worth of improvements to Bethany, their property, without having a lease, so they own those improvements. The residents have major safety and environmental concerns which are not being addressed. You're giving all this money to Bethany, but you do not insist that the trucks go in and out via Pascack Road. Because Bethany says they don't want that. So instead, you're putting people on Woodfield Road and the bike path at risk. You have storage spaces for less money at Our Lady of Good Counsel. And there are no plans at this time for that church to close. You promise us that the Bethany lease, should you ever get one, will only go for 18 months and won't go over. But you also say you have way too much equipment for the new DPW once it's built. And you say you have no plan for what to do about it. You tried to vote this in at a previous meeting without a legal quorum, and it took the Pascack Press to force you to start over. At the last meeting, you said Valley Bank on Pascack Road was out of the question for storage. Tonight, we hear that employees can park there during the DPW construction for free. And even if it goes beyond the time promised us, it would then be only a little more than half the monthly cost at Bethany. They have a lot of space. Why not use some of that for the trucks? And now a serious liability issue. There have been kids playing in the Bethany proposed storage area. You put kids and trucks and heavy equipment together, and you are putting enormous taxpayer dollars at risk for the lawsuit when the kids climb on the trucks and jump or fall and get injured. And Bethany will say, it's our problem. Kids are kids. They will find a way in. I am against this. I am against how you are going about this. Vote down this Bethany DPW use. Vote it down once and for all tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Leadership. Who would like to come up? Anybody else? Mr. Jones?
Kevin Janos, Janos. Good evening, everybody. I'm here to discuss the proposal for the temporary DPW storage yard at Bethany. At the last council meeting, residents reached out to Bethany Church directly. We were told that they requested an immediate meeting with the mayor. Mayor, did this take place, and can you discuss what occurred in that meeting?
Mike, are you going to announce what we agreed on?
Oh, I thought Mr. DiCarlo was going to make the, I'm sorry. The mayor and the administrator will address everybody's questions at the end of the comment period.
Okay. So we learned also in the last meeting that the lease has not been signed. So is it true that the lease has still not been signed at this point?
To my knowledge, Mr. Jones, it has not been signed.
Okay.
The resolution hasn't been passed, so it shouldn't be signed.
So I guess my big question would be, how was a new driveway and fence installed to the tune of $57,000 before a lease is signed? How does that work get authorized? Is there a separate agreement for that? How does that come about?
I'm writing your questions down.
Okay. This would be a question for the town attorney. Does the town have the authority to perform work on private property before a lease is signed, a public vote is held, or public input is obtained? So all these you can't answer, I guess you just take them down?
I don't have the answer to that, Mr. Janos, so I can't answer it. If I could, I would answer you, but
Can the town attorney answer?
Shivani, you going to wait till the end?
Mr. Chair, I'd be happy to write down all the legal questions if that's how the chair
Yeah.
intends to.
So she'll answer at the end, Mr.
As you
Jones.
direct.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Thank you.
Okay. So the site is roughly 50 feet from the Mukwesing Brook, which feeds our lake. There's
We have,
significant.
ladies and gentlemen, we got to keep quiet. We can't hear them up here when you're,
There's significant risk of runoff during heavy rain, hydraulic fluid, engine oil, road salt. So my next question, which I guess you'll write down, are you 100% certain the town can place a storage yard this close to a brook? Did anybody reach out to NJDEP for guidance? Were any special environmental permits required? So with that question being out there, there has been, I think, several formal complaints that have been filed to the NJDEP regarding potential riparian and buffer violations. The DEP has authority to inspect, issue violations or fines, or halt work. Yesterday, I also spoke with Bergen County Health Services, the Environmental Health Division. They enforce the New Jersey Water Pollution Control Act. They explained to me that they cannot do anything until something happens there, I guess the storage of vehicles and equipment. But if this gets voted yes, and the storage does happen there, I will file a formal complaint and they will conduct a water pollution inspection. So I guess my last question, this would be for the town attorney as well. What is the town's liability if required permits were not obtained, or if these agencies determine the site is unsuitable? So I guess in closing, I'll say that given the environmental concerns, potential liability, and unresolved questions, I respectfully request that the council consider adjourning this vote to a future meeting. This pause will allow for proper environmental assessment, clarification of legal obligations, consideration of alternative sites, and very honestly, I don't even think we've been given a vehicle and equipment list, which I think would be the first thing that you do in this situation. Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Jones. Who'd like to come up next, if anyone? Good evening.
Good evening, Anna Mateo.
Good evening, Mrs. Mateo.
If all of these concerns don't matter much for the third time that we're here, I do want to raise awareness of the safety with pedestrians and children. When DPW trucks are present on a daily basis, especially in a residential neighborhood such as Woodfield Road, their visibility becomes a major safety concern. These vehicles are significantly larger than regular passenger cars and often have reduced sight lines, meaning drivers cannot easily see pedestrians, children, or pets who may be walking or playing nearby. During inclement weather, these risks increase dramatically. Rain, snow, fog, and low light conditions make it harder for both drivers and pedestrians to see each other. Large DPW trucks require longer stopping distances and have wider turning radiuses, which can be hazardous on narrow residential streets, like where it's going to be placed, which is a very narrow corner. Children are especially vulnerable. They are smaller, they move unpredictably, and may not understand the danger of being near heavy equipment. A child approaching or crossing near a parked or moving DPW vehicle may be completely outside the driver's field of vision. Daily visibility of these trucks, combined with their increased activity during storms, raises legitimate concerns for resident safety, walkability, and neighborhood quality of life. We ask that you please reconsider for the safety of all pedestrians, including children. We have a large walkway. Everyone here knows the amount of people that walk. I am extremely concerned for the visibility of these vehicles when they drive, when they get out in and out of the driveway. It is very concerning. And if this doesn't shake your heart a little bit, I hope it can. For our children and our elders that are walking by every single day.
Thank you.
Winter is very long, by the
Thank you,
way.
Mrs. Mateo. Did the record reflect that Mrs. Velez arrived at 7:55? Would anybody else like to come up this time to address the council? Mr. Durso? Oh, sorry. This gentleman. You're next.
Anthony Passanante.
Good evening, Mr. Rizzo.
I'm the current president of Washington Lake Association. And I've had a bunch of members reach out to me with pretty grave concerns about any leakage from these vehicles as far as diesel goes, oil spills, leaking into the brook, leaking into the lake. Do you have any provisions in place as to what's going to be done as far as inspections of the vehicles? Is there going to be a certain person in charge that's going to inspect these vehicles every night before they leave, in the morning when they show up? Because at night, if a hose is broken, 60 to 90 gallons of diesel fuel is going to wind up in the lake. So we're just really concerned about any of that
Whoever has their cell phone, please silence it. No, sir.
happening. So provisions, if God forbid something does happen and winds up in the lake, are we going to have something in writing that the town is going to be 100% responsible to clean this up? So those are my
Your
questions.
concerns?
Yeah.
Okay. The administration will answer at the end.
At the end? Okay.
Joe Durso, 12 Viola Terrace. Not often you get to speak twice, but under these circumstances, we're allowed. So again, I feel the pain for these people as much as, and thank you for your clarification on, even though some people don't agree, it's my area. I'm trying to protect my area. These people are trying to protect their areas. Just want to refresh some memories here, going back a few years. You've already done a lot of improvements, whether it's legal or not, at Bethany. You opened up that area there. You concealed it with a black tarp, which is a hazard in my opinion, because you can get kids riding along that path and a truck coming out and they can't even see the truck moving. So you should make it, I know it's for aesthetic reasons maybe, so people don't see in, but that's kind of dangerous. My other thing is, obviously nobody wants this, and obviously you have to make a decision. Again, I'll bring it up again. I've already said it. You need to contact other towns. Paramus would be a great choice to start. But my main concern is, a few years ago, I have pictures, I think I've shared them all on social media sites and with you. This town allowed Verizon, I believe, for months to store all their trucks, all their poles, all their equipments, porta-johns down at Sherry Field. So why wasn't Sherry Field considered? And if you're going in partnership somehow with a lease with Bethany, why don't you put a couple fields down there instead of a DPW, and stick the DPW temporarily down at Sherry Field. And when you lose the fields for a year and a half, maybe you guys can put a temporary field at Bethany instead of a DPW. That's my suggestion, because you've already done it once before. You had Verizon there. Pete, you probably remember. I don't know whether you were the mayor or not, but they were there for some time. And I get it. I'll get the thing, wetlands and all that stuff. But you know what? You can store your trucks down there. You can do whatever you want to do down there. And if you need another field for the kids, so be it. Maybe make a makeshift field and maybe go into a mutual agreement with Bethany for that property. But a DPW in their neighborhood is horrible. Parking trucks in my neighborhood is horrible. Nobody wants it. Again, there's people down there by Sherry Field. It's closer to Westwood. It's the people behind it aren't going to complain. It's the cemetery. So think about it. That's another option. You know, a lot of people are here. They're very upset. I really wish you guys would think about that and think about going to Paramus.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to come up at this time? You're next. And I saw your hand come up in the back. You're next.
My name is Michael Goroyan, G-U-R-O-I-A-N. I am not a resident. My son is. And my granddaughters are, my daughter-in-law. You know, public hearing, I come from Stamford, Connecticut, incidentally, which is a much larger community, evidently. You guys only have fewer than 10,000 people. We have going on 140,000, but I've been in Stamford for over 72 years, and I've seen it grow from virtually nothing to what it is today. And I've seen it done over the objections of a lot of single-family homeowners, and I have a lot of sympathy for the people that have come forward to speak on this proposal. And from what I've gathered from looking at your meetings on the internet, it's a council that listens, and congratulations for that. You have a lovely community. There's been the civility here that I'm not accustomed to. At our hearings, it gets pretty animated, and it can get pretty ugly. And there's certainly enough in this proposal for people to get ugly about. And frankly, if it were me, I would be ugly. And here's a warning: I may get ugly before I get away from the podium. There, frankly, is so many wrong-headed things about this proposal that I come away feeling like a mosquito in a nudist camp. You know what needs to be done and addressed, but you just don't know where to start. And that's what I feel like at this podium. I know a lot of the issues have been brought up, some of the issues haven't been given a good enough explanation. I'm only going to address one concern. I'm a grandfather that was with my granddaughters from infancy through they're 7 and 9 years old now. I strolled those streets. I spent a lot of time with them 3 times a week. And a lot of that time was spent on that pathway that's between, is it Cleveland Road and Woodfield. That is a lovely, lovely spot. And I don't know whether it's owing to your concern and oversight of that, but it's gotten better over the years. It is the closest thing that I've seen in this community to what you might call a nature preserve. We sat there for hours and just enjoyed what was there. Vernal ponds, wildlife, a beautiful natural setting with a bridge over a clean stream of water into a lovely lake in the distance. Now we're having a proposal that's going to put trucks right, the perimeter of that lot is the edge of vernal ponds, seasonal ponds. When that stream is anywhere close to swelling, all of that area, right up to that fence that you've erected, is water. And the only thing really that likes to grow there is skunk cabbage. And frankly, if the asphalt that's crumbling in that lot at present, at that perimeter, weren't there, you'd probably have skunk cabbage. The notion that putting that kind of vehicle in those kind of numbers, that close to that body of water and those vernal ponds is not going to contaminate that area is absurd. I own a car that leaks oil. It leaks other things. It brings in things from the street. It's going to happen. It's a fact of life.
1 minute, sir.
1 minute. One thing I want to, and I beg you not to ruin it, which you're doing, and you're ruining it for cyclists, pedestrians, people with strollers, the elderly taking a walk, pedestrians that are trying to get from the east side of Washington Township to the west side of Washington Township. There's no alternate route that doesn't put them in danger, especially the children. They're going to the library, they're going to Dunkin' Donuts. Maybe somebody would even think about coming to Town Hall from on the other side. Yeah, that might happen. There's Washington School.
Yes.
There's a lot of traffic on that path. Here's my question. Has any one of you sat at that riverside for any length of time in the last 5 years?
Yes.
Do you know how many people use that?
Numerous.
It is a connector between what is identified on Google Maps as East Township of Washington and West Township of Washington. It is a vital connector, and you're disturbing it. Thank you, and I gave you ample warning. I didn't mean to raise my voice, but growing up in Stamford, you learn how to raise your voice.
Mayor, just,
You go ahead.
that path is as beautiful as it is because of Councilman Sears. He has put so much work with the green team, and I have also volunteered alongside the green team to get it to what it is today. So thank you.
Yes, she's next. She had her hand up next. Good evening.
Good evening, Cynthia Clark, C-L-A-R-K. This is a reiteration of my previous comments from previous meetings so that they are connected to Ordinance 2525. The Township of Washington performed leasehold improvements on Bethany property before entering into a lease with Bethany, in effect gifting to Bethany almost $58,000 in taxpayer funds in the form of goods and services, which Bethany now owns in their entirety. At a previous meeting, this body stated that no plans had been made for housing DPW equipment after the 18-month period anticipated in the proposed lease, and that no extensions had been anticipated by that proposed lease. It is conceivable, then, that the town may have to enter into a new month-by-month lease with Bethany after this initial 18-month lease period at a higher lease rate, which would reflect the then market rate for leases. At an earlier meeting on this subject, Mayor Calamari offered to go back to Bethany during negotiations and ask if the DPW could use Bethany's Pascack Road entrance for our DPW equipment. We now find out that Bethany made it clear from the outset of negotiations that using the Pascack Road entrance was not negotiable and was a non-starter. This is a very troubling dichotomy. What steps has this body taken to insulate the Lake Association and its members from any liability stemming from lake contamination, along with covering the cost of remediation of that contamination that may result from oil and other kinds of substance leakage coming from DPW equipment stored at Bethany? As a previous speaker mentioned, kids now play in the fenced-in area intended to be used by the township's DPW. Heavy equipment is a magnet for kids. If you have any doubt of that, just look at West Berlin, New Jersey's Diggerland. It's an amusement park which is entirely devoted to allowing kids to explore and use heavy equipment, and it is a moneymaker. Diggerland is an amusement park where kids are under close supervision. This, on the other hand, is a catastrophe waiting to happen. It also places an unfair security burden on our DPW workers who work tirelessly on our behalf. They should be able to leave their equipment with the same level of monitoring that they do now, not having to take all these extra steps before they go off duty to try and avoid the unavoidable, which is kids trying to start these vehicles. It's simply unfair to our workers. Now, I'm going to ask for a yes or no question to this. It doesn't require a legal response. It shouldn't require it to be pushed off to the end. If you don't want to, you don't want to. My questions are as follows, yes or no. Were the Knights of Columbus approached about using their parking lot? Was the owner of the empty lot on Pascack Road and Washington Avenue approached about using their lot? Was the fire department and ambulance corps approached about using their parking lot? Was OLGC approached about extending the town's current lease for the period of construction of the new DPW building? Was the Valley Bank approached about using their excess property? Was Paramus or any other neighboring town approached about using or leasing property from them? All of these properties are on main roads and would not, as the gentleman before me said, ruin neighborhoods. And Mr. Sears, since you are so invested and have invested so much in improving this property, I urge you to stay consistent with your values and ethics and vote no on this resolution. Thank you.
Would anybody else like to come up at this time? Gentleman in the back.
Hi, I'm Jeff Rogers.
Good evening,
I'm on
Mr.
the
Rogers.
board of the Lake Association, and I'm very concerned about the environmental impact of the trucks. My questions are, where will the brine and the salt trucks be stored? Will they be there at night? Will the salt be stored there? And I know that's been addressed before. Also, as you know, and everyone's been bringing up, it's very close to wetlands, environmental area with wildlife, turtles, frogs, which are very sensitive to pollution. They will die in a minute. That waterway, as you probably know, is our drinking water. We're miles away from the reservoir. And I just want you to take that into consideration when we do your vote. And that's it. Very simple. Everything's
Thank you,
been
Mr.
pretty
Roberts.
much asked. So.
Oleg Vinegar from 10 Viola Terrace.
Good evening, Mr. Vinegar.
Thank you. So I understand that there's a lot of people here that don't want the equipment to be stored in their neighborhood. And I understand nobody wants it in their neighborhood, and I don't want it in mine. Right? I just want the council to realize that, and I heard a number of people already came up here, why don't we put it at the bank's property, right? It's not going to destroy anybody's neighborhood. Well, it's going to destroy mine. And I want the council to consider that that property is probably, or most likely, is going to be redeveloped. So the neighborhood that I live in is going to endure demolition, construction for months or maybe even years, right? So I don't want an additional X number of months of noise and construction vehicles being stored there. So I understand it's a difficult situation where to put it, and nobody wants it in their backyard. And I just want to say that I don't want it in mine. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vinegar. Would anybody else like to come up at this time? In the back?
Judy Guma, Guma.
Good evening, Mr. Duma.
How are you? 289 Woodfield Road. Mr. DiCarlo, there was not clarification at the last meeting. Can you define the operations of the DPW equipment and vehicles and related activities?
He's going to answer all your questions at the end.
When do you plan on addressing that? Right now, there is no solid plan for the location of the trucks that cannot be stored due to the lack of space upon the completion of the new DPW. Will it be proactively or reactively, like we're all in these same seats 18 months from now with the same situation? I would like to reference one of the statements in one of the articles. The ordinance states that the Bethany property is well suited, in quotes, for the temporary operations of the DPW with the least impact to residents. Now think of that, least impact to residents. So you guys have heard, everyone here, 3 meetings, you've gotten letters, you've gotten calls, you've gotten emails, you've gotten posts. So it's not a new concept. I invite the mayor, administrator, and the council, come hang out in my driveway, 289 Woodfield Road. It's the white fence, parallel with all of this. And you observe, look at the kids, look at the elderly, and look at the trucks. I will provide donuts, especially with this cold, slick weather. I will provide hot chocolate. And what I noticed this morning, I'm outside all different hours of the day.
And I've seen you outside in my vest.
Right. Well, stop in one day, okay? So I did see a truck today coming from the Brook area, going straight out. It was slick. And it was the same time as school time. The neighbor across the street, she's this big, she's 8 years old. She goes to George School. Think about these issues. As council members, this is not about Woodfield Road. My sister lives on Stratford. All my friends live on Cleveland and Oxford and Devon. It's not about that. But again, did you ever try making the turn on Woodfield? Try it with a large truck. with icy roads, even rain like today. Try that. So you're the council, you represent Washington Township residents. Put yourself in our shoes. And before you vote, think about all these critical issues and concerns. Think about the unanswered questions that we're going to walk out of here, I'm sure. Think about the what if scenarios. Think about if it was your home or your child. My children are grown up, but I feel for the people that walk here. How would you feel about the decrease in home value if you wanted to sell your home in these 18 months? And think about that statement. Is Bethany the best alternative with the least impact to the residents? And think about what you heard tonight. All major issues. And with that in mind, I cannot fathom how in your mind and in your heart that you could possibly vote yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to come up at this time?
Matthew Shago, JSCOB, 286 Footfield Road. My neighbor just spoke. I've been here the past 2 times. I opened my garage. My 9-year-old, that she was just mentioned, is facing the gate that you have right in front. I'm tired of complaining about the safety. People here spoke last 2 weeks. Yeah, I really feel like you picked the worst street in the whole town. You have a high school down the block. You have a library. You have 10 to 20 kids that ride a bike at every 10 minutes. Yeah, I'm really concerned about the safety, but at the same time, you said that this whole thing is for 12 months. What happens after 12 months? Bethany's getting $5,000 revenue every month. What if Bethany sells it to Mercedes or Tesla? They're all looking for spots to park their car. This just opens up avenue for other people to come in there.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to keep.
There is no other.
I've been here 2 times. This is my 3rd time.
We had this discussion before, but they cannot lease the property out to anyone.
Can we have? I know you sent me a letter in writing that this is for 12 months.
Well, I can't send you a letter, but
the town sent me a letter
stated that they would have to go in front of the zoning board for a use change.
Because Bethany would still want revenue after this.
Yeah, but they're not allowed to have multiple uses on their property
after this.
Well, is that a correct statement?
I mean, that's my big concern because
the town, the municipality has different, I don't know how you want to say it. Standards than they do. They can't just rent out their property to make revenue there.
Okay. I really hope you guys take the whole safety concern. We've been here for 3 weeks now.
Yep.
You know, thank you so much.
Thank you. Anybody else like to come up at this time? Good evening.
Good evening, Carol Swain. For the past few weeks, you have listened to our questions and our concerns of having a temporary DPW site at the Bethany Community Center on Woodfield Road. This situation could lead to many unnecessary hazards for the children, for joggers, cyclists, young parents with baby strollers, and senior citizens that enjoy this beautiful area around our neighborhood, while also being quite unsightly. This proposal is not only potentially dangerous to the many residents who enjoy this bucolic area, but it opens up a Pandora's box to potential problems, runoff from salt, grime, fuel, from DPW vehicles into the brook, endangering our waterways and our wildlife. Also, maybe then we will have to incur additional expenses if contaminants go into our lake. Is it right that the Lake Association, because they're the lake, that they would have to have the brunt of a financial problem with 200 and some odd lake members, when this is really being imposed by the town and we have thousands of residents? You're not really thinking about what this could possibly do. This could ruin our area totally. Mr. Sears, you have worked very hard with the Green Team. I always read the newsletter that comes out. All of the parks, the improvements, the trees, everything beautiful. Why would you allow something like this to happen? And I totally understand and I sympathize with all of you. You were turned down in many locations. You didn't get the swim club. You didn't get Charlie Brown's. But when we asked you, what other places did you look into? And you said to us, there were many places we looked. You didn't tell us which ones. You're disrupting a neighborhood. You're disrupting our quality of life, our home values, and God forbid, a life could be lost. This is not worth taking. I don't understand why we are not looking at more fiscally responsible alternatives. What is wrong with OLGC? Like I have asked you from over 2 weeks ago. Our 2-year lease ending with them this month was $64,000. That's a far cry from what we're paying Bethany. Why are we putting ourselves in a situation that if something happens at Bethany, a life is lost, people's quality of life is disrupted? Why are we putting ourselves in that situation? It's not, you're not showing that you're concerned about the citizens. Instead, it seems more like you're protecting Bethany. Bethany is the one profiting beautifully. If an accident happens on their property, on that lot, do you think who's liable? Is Bethany liable or is the township liable? It's just there are so many questions, there aren't any answers. I don't understand how you could really consider
1
this
minute left.
alternative. I really don't. I say let's take the loss. You went ahead, this whole thing was messed from the very beginning. You went into something, you were excited, you went whole hog, and you went and you did construction without a signed lease. None of us could do something on our homes without a permit, okay? You went, you put up a curb, you put up a gate, and the worst thing of all is I think we are setting a precedence for what Bethany might want to do in the future with their land. You say it's not zoned, but if you set a precedence and they turn around, legally can they say, well, we did it with the township, so if Tesla wants to come and use our land, or if local landscapers want to rent from us, we can use that money. We're opening up a really bad situation. And I am imploring you, let's take the loss on what was put there. It would be so much better, take it down. Take the curb away, the rolling gate away, put those trees back there blocking the residents' view from a parking lot. They didn't buy their homes for a parking lot. Do that, and it would be the best $58,000 we've ever spent. And forget the rest of this.
Yeah.
Would anybody else like to come up at this time? Good evening.
Good evening. Michelle and Ryan McCory, 238 Woodfield.
Good evening.
I made him stay for a whole hour, so I had to come up here. But I don't have anything new to say that hasn't been so eloquently said by everybody here. But these are the people that you're risking, okay? He's 9 years old. He goes to Washington. He's going to ride his bike around with all of his friends. Why would you take that chance? Every parent in this room worries about their kids. That's natural. That's life. You are increasing worry unnecessarily by having these big trucks drive around. Now I have to have all this extra worry about, are they going to get hit? Your drivers are smart. I'm sure they don't want to do anything, to hurt anybody else, but you're putting them in a bad situation. Accidents happen. Whether they're careful as children or your drivers are careful, accidents are going to happen. And I can't even fathom how you could think this is a good idea. Okay, so I'm just up here. I'm going to sit back down. I'm going to implore you to vote no on this. This is a dumb idea. And if you don't see it, look at who you're risking. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anybody else like to come up at this time? Seeing no one, motion to close the public comment period of this.
No, there's one over
Oh,
there.
you almost lost out. Got to raise your hand quick.
How are you? My name is Glenn Bartlett. I live on Cleveland.
Good evening, Mr. Bartlett.
Good evening. So, I guess I'll start with a question. I just need to understand why there's zero transparency for the lease. And I think that it would be only fair for people to have the ability to review it. And just my main question is there a lease? Is it a fully executed lease? And when is the start date? Besides that, I just wanted to point out that this is no longer a community issue. It's truly an environmental issue. And I personally have gone forward and retained legal counsel to represent myself and any other residents that would like to join in doing a cease and desist and an injunctive relief against Bethany for the potential environmental concerns that could happen. And I would just like to encourage all the council to be able to be very careful, because in the proceeding of everything that happened, I'm sure it'll be very closely looked at into what is a regulation and what is properly passed and what is not. Besides that, I essentially would like to say that if you hear of a legal process that is in the process of happening, this also, to add before I say this part, is the attorney that is representing myself will be working directly with DEP and will be